So I got out of bed, and in the middle of my floor was a white tower, like a beige looking tower. It was an old bit of technology, a computer tower that is, and it wasn't hooked up to anything. It had no wires connected to it. I didn't find this odd at all, but I did find it odd that it was making a weird sound periodically. So one of the components in the computer had some sort of thing in it that was making a sound, and it would go meow, meow, meow every 20 seconds or so. And I listened to it for a bit. I went and got one of my family members, and I told her about the computer and how it's making weird noises. And she was like, "Oh yeah, ETs are beaming up old electronics to use them as materials for their creations." And I was under the impression that they injected something into objects to make this sound to help distinguish the boundaries of objects so that they can teleport them without too much collateral damage, like cutting into the ground, for instance, or into nearby objects. The sound just made it so that defined objects would vibrate in a certain way, the atoms. And that's what the sound was. So I went back into my bedroom and I just listened to this thing for a while. And I looked away from it, and then I looked back and it was gone. It was beamed up. And I told someone in the house, I was like, "Did you hear that?" And I repeated the sound just to let them know what the sound was. And my eyes were covered up with something, and then I phased out of the physical universe and then phased back in, up into a spaceship. And the spaceship was giant. Well, I don't know the actual size of the spaceship, but the room that I was in the spaceship was very large. It was purple, and it had rounded edges everywhere. There was no hard edges. I think all of the spaceships that are created by thought and then materialized are the ones that are with the rounded edges. I think I heard something about that on Gaiam TV. And that makes sense because in my dreams it's easier to maintain and create rounded edge stuff. I was in this spaceship and it was lined up alongside a bunch of other humans, and we were just lined up around the outside of the room, and we were getting injected with stuff and like experimented on. And eventually my body morphed into something that looks like a Halo Elite. At least that's what my legs looked like and my arms. I didn't really see the rest. And then it gets a bit vague, all the stuff that happened in the spaceship. There's quite a bit of it, but I don't remember. And that was the end of that experience.